We start off the afternoon in the first race with a horse called Belton Road.
Yeah, and he's coming back from surgery. We always rated him, and since he's been back, his work has been very good. Depending on how much he needs it, he could go close.
Quality as opposed to quantity for you on Saturday. We start off with a horse called Tequila Man.
Yeah, Andrew, he hasn't run for a while. He's been rested, but having said that, he's fit and well, and we can run a place.
The first of the afternoon sees a son of Lateral stepping out for you on this auspicious day.
Yeah, he'll need the run, and he'll need a bit further too.
Hi Andrew, Henry James, yeah, he's been a little bit disappointing. He's a horse that shows very good work at home and he hasn't brought it to the racecourse. We do think that the 1160 should be better suited to him and should have more of an improved type of race.
Okay, Greatest Wishes in the second.
Yeah, Greatest Wish come back from Gelding. He'll definitely need the run. I'll be happy with the 4th, 5th because I know he'll make a lot of improvements.
Very good run last time. The horse behind him came out and won by a proverbial mile. You must be very heartened by that performance.
Yeah, in fact, he disappointed us previously. It's always the level of form he's showed us at home. We are coming back to the mile over here, and it is a competitive race. He certainly has a chance, but open race.
Okay, we've got a little clip of the Dazzler working with a rather accomplished horse, and the Dazzler himself is rather an accomplished horse.
Yeah, he's a nice, consistent horse. He's in good form again. I think in this field, even with 61, I think he's got 61, maybe 61.5, but he's in good form, and I think in this field he'll be very competitive.
And then the Rocket Man, you've always had very, very high hopes for him. What are you expecting?
He's been a little bit disappointing of late. He's shown one or two glimmers of what we expected, but then he has one or two inconsistent runs. The distance will probably be a lot better suited to him, and we're expecting an improved run.
Throng, a model of consistency, rock solid form. I'm sure you're expecting a big performance from him.
Yeah, he's been a little bit disappointing, to be honest with you. We thought he'd go on from here. I'm not too sure about the distance. I thought that he didn't stay previously as a 3-year-old. We're going to try again, and if it doesn't work stepping up in distance, we may just need to consider blinkers.
Would you be on some sort of a mission with Puget Sound in the 4th?
Yeah, he ran a nice race in the Wolf Power, which was his first run after arrest. I'm not sure about the 2000, but the horse is in good form and it's a good time to try. He's got a lovely draw of 2. He's so honest, and it's a strong field. I'll be really happy if he can run the first 3 or 4.
The Whisperer is of the opinion that Greek Fire has been a little bit unlucky, that even though the handicap has only dropped him a pound, you can ignore his last start. What's the Azzie yard expecting of Greek Fire?
Yeah, I think he has been a little bit unlucky. He's raced on tracks where they've been really quick and he's had to come from off the pace, and he's been flying at the finish, just hasn't got there in time. He's a horse that we have said before, as a 3-year-old he started developing a habit of pulling, and when we brought him back this season, our whole mindset was to teach him to relax and get him to run on, and he has started to do that. We do think that the 2000 has always been the goal that we were aiming him towards once we had got him to settle. Now that we have got him to settle, we're putting him in the distance we think's best suited to him, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
One slight blemish in his form, which you've explained, but other than that, he looks like he's just about ready to give a good performance.
Funny enough, his work at home and all his gallops over the last while have been really excellent, and he just isn't bringing it to the races, and we're hoping that the addition of blinkers will let him bring his A game to the course.
Okay, then having a look at the work on Sunday morning, you must have been well pleased with the performance of Tambalang. She galloped with a really good filly.
Yeah, Tambalang is a good filly herself. Unfortunately, she gets really uptight on race day, and we are trying one or two things differently. We've been trying a few things for a while. However, on her day, she's got ability and she could certainly be competitive.
There was also a lot to like about Wondrous Climber's work, and I think we just put a line straight through his last start. Maybe you can explain that, because he was going for a 5-timer.
No, I can't really explain it, Andrew. He's, it was obviously a step up in class. There was yielding going. There are a few question marks, but no answers. So we just have to put a line through that run. His work's good, and I think he's got a chance.
Okay, then you've got the pair of Full Mast and Will Pays in the Hawaii Stakes. It's a race that you've won this time last year. It was one of your dreams fulfilled, but there's certainly nothing wrong with Full Mast as well.
Yeah, Full Mast is he's a nice horse, and he puts up good work at home. Last time out, I don't think the going really suited him, and you know, if he puts his best foot forward, he could be competitive. There are horses in this race that you've got to respect. It is a strong field this year, but he's by no doubt a horse that I think if he puts his best foot forward, he could be competitive. Will Pays, you know, there's not much to say about that horse. He's a special horse, and you know, as an old man, he's really been doing well, and it's just nice that we've been able to keep him going in the way which we have. His last run, he was really unlucky. He got caught on the rail, and he wasn't able to make his run when he wanted to. And you know, if things go his way tomorrow, I think that he'll be in with a shout.
Yeah, it looks like a very competitive race, Andy. Almost like Grade 1 class, really. Yeah, I'm happy with my 3. Aldanza got a nice draw for a change, so you know, I think she's pretty well in there at the weights. Not slung in exactly, but fairly high up in the pecking order. Doing very well, and I think the 1400, you know, she'll be very competitive there. Zouave's rotten draw as per usual, but he's also going very well, and he's in good form. I'm very happy with him. New Caledonian, he was down in the Cape with Lucinda. His last 2 starts were very good runs. So he ran second to Rainbow Bridge, and then he ran second in the Merchant. So I mean, super runs. So I think 1400 also ideal for him. Not a good draw, but he does lay off the pace. So you know, we'll ride him conservatively, and he'll have a chance. He's a high-class horse, and his work's very good. And he's been here for about 3 months, so he's properly acclimatised.
I once heard Claire Balding talking about a horse called Hawkwing being a prisoner of his own physical imperfections, which is certainly the case as far as Red Chestnut Road is concerned. It doesn't apply to his owner, but what are you expecting?
Maybe it applies to his owner as well. I'm a part owner of him, but anyway. Yeah, look, he's been a horse. He's obviously very, very talented, but he's had his issues along the way, and somehow or the other, when it comes all these big races, he runs into the hassles. But it is what it is, you know. And unfortunately, he missed his race last 2 weeks ago, that was virus related. It had nothing to do with soundness or anything like that. There was just a total virus which he picked up, unfortunately. So he's going to go into this race. He hasn't run since his last race was late November, end of November last year. Yeah, he's done well, and then he had another nice piece of work yesterday, which was a little bit better than Saturday. So he's coming on. Thanks.
Yeah, she's prepping for the Empress Club. She's obviously won over this kind of distance before. She won the Spring Challenge, and barring Sukrat, she's fairly well treated at the weights. So it's hard to say she's got no chance, but you know, just got to be mindful of the fact that we are prepping. We're going to probably run her here in the 14, and then another 14, and then the Empress Club.
He's got nothing to prove. He's proven himself more than capable in the highest class company. And what's the line of thinking with him? Heading towards the Horse Chestnut?
Yeah, definitely prepping him towards the Horse Chestnut. The guys at the top, Angus, my dad, and the Sheikh, felt that they would like to give Hawam and Barry an opportunity to win a Group 1. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but you know, Sukrat's already been there and done it. And so as long as we can keep them separate, as long as we can do that, well, then the better. So he's going the 14, and then he'll go to the Horse Chestnut, and maybe after that they might meet.
Captain and Master, also very useful horse, also nice work.
Yeah, I think he is a really nice horse. We're struggling to get to the bottom of him. I do believe that he was maybe made a little too much use of to try and beat the draw last time, and obviously with the blinkers then started over racing. This is a strong field. He's not well weighted. It wouldn't surprise me to see him in the mix, but on ratings we are below most of these horses.
Okay, then we move on to Greener Pastures and Silver Thursday, both with cracking form.
Yeah, Silver Thursday, she's come down in the ratings. She didn't get a penalty for running second last time. I think she's in good form. I think she'll be very competitive. And Greener Pastures has a fantastic draw 1. She won a good race last time. This will be a big test for her. It's first time in feature race company, so it'll be interesting to see how she goes.
Just tell us very briefly about Greener Pastures' work on Sunday morning.
Yeah, she put up some good work. we were debating whether to run her in the classic or in this handicap. Just felt on her work that she wasn't quite up to Group 1 level at this stage, especially at weight for age terms. She won by 6-7 lengths as easy as she liked last time, but she still ran to her rating. The handicapper never changed her rating of 89. So, we couldn't be too optimistic, and we elected to go for the Acacia.
Then we move on to the 7th of the afternoon, where Insignius represents you in the Acacia handicap.
Yeah, another competitive race. Smallish field, I was quite surprised. But, I think everybody's chasing black type here. A mile, probably the shortest you want with Insignius, but a month's time we've got an 1800 graded race also, so part of her program. Happy with her. She's got solid form. I think she comes into the race a fit girl, and I think from a decent draw, Marco knows her well, lightweight. I think she's definitely in with a shout, Andy. Place chance for sure.
Yeah, Campharatus, she's a bit of a finicky type filly, and if she travels well, I hope she'll be competitive. She won a great race when she won the Flamboyant. She won a very, very nice run. If she travels well, I'm sure she'll be competitive.
I'm sure Turffontein will suit her down to the ground if she likes to sit.
She comes well off the pace, and she comes with a hell of a sustained run. So we're hoping she goes very well.
Okay, then we move on to the Acacia. You've got Flying Fable. She's got plenty of credentials.
Flying Fable's a filly that we had a setback with her earlier in her career, and we gave her a lot of time. We always thought that she would be able to be competitive at this level. She's fit now, and this is probably the right time for us to put her in this type of company. It's a pity about the draw. I think that'll probably be less favourable to her chances, but if she manages to settle early on and running on, we'll be happy. It'll be nice to see how she goes against this type of company.
Okay, then you've got the bottom two weights, Annika and Aurelia Cotta in the Acacia. It's quite a competitive lineup, but they look equally up to the task.
Yeah, they both are up to the task. I'm happy with Aurelia Cotta back over the mile. She didn't get a blow in over 2,000, but they also walked and sprinted, which didn't help. The other filly, we've taken the blinkers off. She was over racing a little bit over further, although it did suit her last run over 1,200. Stepping up in distance, we feel that to see if she gets the mile, those blinkers need to come off. But it's an open race again, no real confidence.
Yeah, Andy, she's done very well between races. She's luckily enough got a good draw of 1. We didn't run her between the Ipitombi and the Guineas because we didn't want to have too many runs. So I felt she needed the Guineas run, and she's definitely made improvements, which is nice and positive. And like I said, everything's gone well.
She showed a lot of mettle to get the better of Paul Matchett's filly.
She did. I spoke to Warren afterwards, and he felt that she had made a good forward move, like she was going to win the race quite comfortably, and then got a bit tired, which is probably cognizance of the fact that she might have needed the run. So yeah, it's a nice positive aspect for the race on Saturday.
Not a bad run at all by any stretch of the imagination by Storm Destiny, but she was very wide in the race.
Yeah, she didn't have luck in running. Those things happen, and things didn't go away. So she is much better than that. She beat Running Brave at the start before. So in all fairness, she should have been right on top of Running Brave and Nafayez. And I think if she gives her best, she will be. And
what of Dagmar?
Yeah, Dagmar is still just experimental, really. She got beaten 2 lengths, beaten fair and square. If by any means she loves the 1800, then I guess she can finish closer. But right now, she does probably look held.
And then you've got Perfect Tigress, slow away last time out, but she finished off her race very well.
Yeah, last time out, first time that she's jumped like that. We don't think there's much to it. The jockey said that she just sort of stood back in the gates, and she got left behind, something that she's never done before. So we'll get her nice and ready so that doesn't happen again on Saturday. She's a filly that she's been a bit unlucky. She's found a bit of interference in her last 3 starts, or she's just been flying at the finish late, but she's really consistent, and she's the type of horse that if she puts herself in a good place early on in the race, she could be a dark horse and a horse that punters should pay attention to.
She's all heart. She doesn't give up. Unlucky lose of the fillies Guineas. I mean, a stride before and a stride after the post she had won it. We believe she will see the distance. Big chance, but obviously a very strong bunch of 3-year-old fillies this year.
Similar kind of ride, or are you going to try and conserve her a bit?
We do need to try and conserve her a bit and tuck her up. You know, she's a bit of a temperamental filly. She's not easy to ride, but Devon Habib gets on very well with her. And the two of them are a great combination. I hope we can reverse the last result.
She'll be running according to her name.
Definitely, she's a brave heart.
I think I've got a way better chance with the fillies than I have with the colts. I mean, Michael's got all the bases covered with the colts. Return Flight is a class act. You know, she had her issues in her last, her penultimate start, which I've been on record enough times to not go through it again. Her last run was pleasing. I think she'll strip a fit horse on the day and she'll be competitive. And Second Request is doing really well. You know, it was unfortunate about her not being able to compete in a Group 1 in Cape Town because she wouldn't go down the chute. However, there were a lot of factors that needed to be considered, namely that they had a big tent right on the chute for one, and for two there were a whole lot of people walking the opposite direction when she needed to get out. It's very sad to have a horse scratch from a Group 1 for those reasons. However, we've done a lot of work with her. She's been to the track and galloped there and proved tractable or paraded, whatever you want to call it, and everything's gone really well. I think she's not out of it.
Okay, then on to the big guys. You're represented by almost 50% of the field, and let's start with the talking horse, Hawam, who gets a better draw, and he's a horse that, as your dad said, you can't expect to win a Group 1 or Group 2 from that position, assuming that he'll probably be a little closer to the pace this time.
Yeah, obviously very happy with the draw. But in fairness, we were beaten last time by 2.5 lengths by a good horse, so we've got ground to make up. You know, we've got to put in a big performance. Hawam definitely will love the extra distance. He's come through the 4 weeks very well, and I'm really happy with him.
While all the presentations were going on after the Guineas, I had a little chat to Anton Marcus, and he gave me a fairly upbeat feel about Burrow-Hin, and he said the horse is coming on all the while after a very long break.
Yeah, we were very happy, considering that the whole Triple Crown series had moved a month earlier. It probably wasn't convenient timing for us to be starting his comeback run in the Guineas, but be it as it may, he came from a 6-month rest and ran a good race, and definitely tightened up, looks amazing, and draw one, you know, I'm sure he'll be right there.
Okay, you've got a Grade 1 winner in the race in Diego de Gaveo's first victory down in Cape Town in the Derby. What about him?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be too short for him in this company, but with the rating of his now, it's hard to find races to prep in, so we'll be using this as a prep for the Derby, which he will be ideally suited to.
And I think that run comes absolutely at a perfect time, sort of beautifully spaced.
Yeah, and he's come back from Cape Town in a good space too. You know, that's important. We haven't had, touch wood, any setbacks coming back. So I think it's all looking positive towards the Derby. And
then finally, Ali Assad.
Yeah, he's a good horse on his day, and I mean he has beaten Sukrat before, just behind Burrow-Hin. Last time was his first run after gelding as well, and he needed it. You know, on his day he can be very competitive. I'm not sure if he can beat Hawam and Burrow-Hin, but he'll be right there.
Owl in the Tree and Hawam renew rivalry. They've met a few times. Owl in the Tree definitely getting closer, getting stronger.
He is, look, he's 7-8 weeks gelded now, and he's really settled down in himself. He's a much nicer guy to work with. Terrific work at home as per usual. But, you know, in the race we're held, obviously the first 2 or 3 past the post in the Guineas hold us on form. What will be in our favour, I think, is the 1800. It's getting to his trip now. The mile was a little bit on the sharp side for him. He just got a little bit flat-footed in the Guineas. He was sort of contesting 5th, 6th spot, but never really got further forward than that, and the faster horses got away. 1800, hopefully a slightly different story, you know. But very happy with him, and he's sound, he looks beautiful.
Yeah, it certainly would have helped him a lot from an experience and fitness point of view, Andrew. We were nowhere near ready for that Guineas. We feel that we've got him a lot closer, but I've got a feeling this run will bring him to his absolute peak.
Would it be fair to say that the Derby distance will be really what he's looking for, or do you think he could well be effective over 1800 after his last good mile?
He'll definitely be effective over 1800. It's not really about the distance, it's more about the timing. And yeah, he's got no problem with the 1800. Just from a timing point of view, I think he'll be spot on by the time the Derby comes. Von Treo is doing pretty well. He acquitted himself reasonably well, got a hefty penalty for it. However, I think a more quiet ride. We'd have to ride him that way to ensure that he sees out the trip.
This horse has proven beyond any reasonable doubt, National Park, that he's one of the serious horses of his generation. And now he steps up another 200 metres, but the way in which he won the Guineas gives you every confidence that this is right within his scope.
Yeah, for sure. Look, obviously you do need a little bit of luck, but at the same token, you can't just bring anything up here, because it is a major centre, and we are pretty much a minor centre, everyone knows. The horses we've brought up here have been the best we've had probably at the time in Port Elizabeth. That's why we brought them here, and we've had our luck when we've got here. Now, this horse is probably the best we've had since Copper Parade. Obviously different distances, different style of racing, but he's a very smart sort. We brought him up for the Graham Beck, and it was a tester for him, and he came through with flying colours. As everyone knows, I mean, he had his excuses his next start. He put all that to bed with his last race. I mean, he was very impressive. I have no problem with the distance. Things have gone well so far up here. We had a little bit of a hiccup in his second week here, but nothing too serious. It was minor. He's come through okay, and yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
Okay, maybe the fun box kicks into action early for races 11 and 12, but first of all, you've got to get through race 10, and that's where Jailhouse Jazz takes her place.
Yeah, she has been slightly disappointing since coming back from a rest, but in saying that, I think the drop to 1,000 will suit her, and she's been putting up some exceptional work, and I'm hoping that she can reproduce that. If she does, then I think she's a horse you can't leave out.
And then to put the lid on the day, I'm not quite sure what to make of Sand Princess. Can you help us, please?
Well, she's battling to breathe, Andrew, and obviously even though she needs 1,700 and further, she's clearly not coping with that. She's got a respiratory issue, and we are just dropping her back in distance. We believe she's a nice filly, and we're hoping that the drop back in distance, maybe we'll put the blinkers on, will help her cause.